Welcome back to Curated Clinical, where we break down the science and bring the real talk about science, research, clinical trials. We're going to be talking to you like we're at the kitchen table with your family. I'm Allison.
And I'm Marcus. How y'all doing? And today with us, we have our other colleague.
I'm Bridget.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
So yeah, let's touch base. How's everything been going? What's been going on since the last time we talked? Anything new? What's happening?
Bridget, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's summer, spring weather is clearing out. It's getting warm outside.
It is getting warm.
It
I'm
is.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Although,
I'm really excited.
North Carolina doesn't get as hot as others. Like, I'm from Texas, so,
Yeah.
It's
It got
like
hot last
already-
year, though. It got real hot last year, and it's humid.
yeah,
The
it's a
humidity
different
is-
kind of heat.
Yeah.
Because it's already in triple digits in Texas.
Oh, no. No thanks.
May 30th and it's triple digits. My goodness.
But like me being light skinned, I like to be outside because I need to get some color. Because y'all always want to joke about me being
You can
light
stay out there longer. You can bake a little bit longer.
The summer color is yes, it's on the come up. But Bridget, real quick, because you weren't here for the first couple episodes, why don't you just give us a brief? Who are you? Give us a brief, background, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a public health professional, and I work in clinical research. I've mainly worked in infectious diseases, so that's my jam. Specifically HIV and STIs. But I love this kind of work too, this community outreach and talking to people, hearing from them about their questions, especially like this kitchen table talk. This is what I love.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I also love to garden and to be outside. So I got to get the sunscreen too.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a little bit darker than you, Allison.
So, I always heard growing up that, the myth is if you have brown melanin that you don't need sunscreen.
I heard that too. And I didn't use it for the longest time. I didn't start using sunscreen until recently.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't have that luxury because I definitely started sunburning at a young age, and I was like, I need this.
So, if you haven't caught on yet, today we're going to talk about sunscreen. The myths, the not myths, all that good stuff.
The not myths?
Yeah, I don't.
Not
Non-myths.
myths.
What are the myths?
I
Not
don't know
myths?
if they're just not a myth,
Is this two
The
truths
facts?
and a lie?
The
Yeah.
facts.
The facts. There we go.
That's why we got smart people around, because they find terms that you can't always find.
Right.
So the myths and the facts and all of that stuff. So yeah, sunscreen. That's what we're discussing today.
Okay, so on TikTok, I don't know, are y'all on TikTok?
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok.
I'm on
Okay,
TikTok.
so on TikTok, there's a bunch of influencers that are talking about sunscreen and saying that we should stop using sunscreen altogether because it causes cancer. So what y'all think?
Sunscreen causes cancer.
Yeah.
Not prevents cancer,
But
Causes
causes
cancer.
Okay.
And it
Interesting.
actually has come from sunscreen. There was 75 brands of sunscreen that got recalled last summer because they had a product or a chemical in it called benzene that is known to cause cancer. So they recalled all these products on the market and took them off the shelves so that people couldn't buy them anymore. And then they also told people, if you have this sunscreen, double check to see if it has that ingredient in it, and if so, throw it away.
Toss it.
Not get your money back. Just throw it away.
Oh, well, I don't know. They might have given people their money back. I have no idea.
Okay.
Some
But-
folks still using it because they I paid too much for this
I
sunscreen.
mean, it's not cheap,
inflation
right.
is real.
Especially if it's that Neutrogena where you be spraying and it look nice and glistening.
Right.
Neutrogena.
Right.
Sponsor.
Right, it's sponsored post.
We are not,
No,
look,
we are not
independent
sponsored
right
by
now.
Neutrogena.
But soon.
But soon.
So no, I think that's crazy. That sunscreen causes cancer because growing up, that's what I've always heard the opposite.
Right.
You use sunscreen to prevent getting cancer, like it was drilled into me and my brother's head by my mom because she was just always like, the worst case of melanoma was like a dark skinned, black person, and I was like the worst case, and so like, yeah, that was just drilled into us. So it's like, use sunscreen. Although I have been burned a couple times.
Light skin.
My mom has burned. My mom has had sunburn, and she was in pain for a few days, at least a week. Yeah.
So
we went down to Myrtle Beach, and she got sunburned,
and
like her shoulders.
She's dark skinned.
No, she's light skinned. My mom's
okay.
light skinned, not as light as you, but she's light skinned. And like her shoulders and stuff, her upper back were like red, She had that lobster thing going on. Her skin was peeling and stuff. Yeah, it was not
That's
fun
what
for
happened
her.
to me. Like, and I didn't find out until, so randomly I had put on sunscreen and then was at the beach, so was in the water, came out of the water, laid on the beach, fell asleep for like an hour and a half.
Oh my goodness.
And I was in the Virgin Islands, so it was way different from like the beaches here. But it was like, and it was a tree, so I'm thinking I'm shaded. But when I got up, we went back to the house, got in the shower. I just was like,
yeah.
And it was like, and it's always my shoulders,
Oh.
So I've never burned. I might have burned on my nose once, but like other than that, it's just been my shoulders.
Yeah, no, I've definitely gotten burnt. Last year, when I went out to the food truck festival in Winston-Salem, I got all burned.
Did you use sunscreen?
No,
that time? You
so
just
I
went
didn't.
Out there?
Yeah, I didn't use it because it was just the beginning of summer and was like, wasn't even thinking about. I wasn't in the mindset of getting sunscreen.
Yeah.
So I was just out there all day, and I was like, I'll be fine. I get to get some sun, and then I was like, oh no. So I had to go buy aloe and just like start rubbing it on my skin, and I discovered that aloe is like a good moisturizer, and you can also use it for your hair.
And then there's the aloe drink too, right?
Yeah, you can drink it too, but don't drink
not the stuff for your skin.
Don't drink that.
No.
Yeah, but yeah, I get sunburned now a lot. If I go out for just like a little bit of time, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm out there, like you said, for like an hour or something, then it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So
now, what you used before, did you notice that it had benzene in it or not?
I didn't even know to look for benzene. So I have no idea. Probably did have it in there. And I didn't know. See, that's the thing. We don't know what these ingredients are in a lot of the products that we use. And we just trust that the people who make it are putting in things that aren't going to cause cancer.
Right.
But, I mean, I think as we continue to see recalls coming out and all these new studies, it gets a little frustrating because you're like, well, who regulated that? Like, who allowed them to put this in there? And why are these companies putting these chemicals into their products, knowing that people are going to consume them?
Yep. I mean, I don't know. That's my thoughts, and I'll just always go back to, I believe that our bodies are all different, right? So like, some people can probably use the sunscreen with benzene and be completely fine, and then somebody else could use sunscreen with benzene and within a couple years, be diagnosed with cancer. But it's just like, how about we just take it out completely and don't use it? But I'm not a scientist and I'm not an R&D, so.
Well, so to that point, I think that I posed a question, but I think I have the answer too. About they put products in there because if you have a small amount, if you're exposed to a small amount of the chemical, then it's not going to pose a big risk for you. And so they may justify saying, oh, we're not putting a lot in there. And so it's up to the consumer to make a decision on how much they're going to use and whether that's going to put them at risk or not. And the other thing is, it's not like a direct relationship between putting benzene on you and getting cancer, right?
Yeah, see, that was going to be my question. Like, are they talking about causation? Or are they talking about, is it correlated because there's a lot of other ingredients in that sunscreen too.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly about benzene, but I know in general the way that they are able to determine and isolate kind of the relationship between an ingredient and a health outcome is by having a lot of people participate in a clinical trial, and then they will compare they'll do what you call a control group. So the control group doesn't use or they may use sunscreen, but it may not have that particular ingredient of benzene in it. And then they compare that group to a group that's using sunscreen with benzene in it. And then they also try to make sure that the people are as similar as possible, or they'll like randomly assign them to groups. So they're not like intentionally trying to find the healthiest group over here and then a sick group over here. So they want to make sure that the characteristics are generally the same across both groups. So like men, women, age diversity, whatever, or they try to find healthy volunteers on both sides, right? And then so that way they're able to kind of remove the likelihood that other factors influence the outcome. And then they may look over time to see does that product have an outcome, a health outcome.
Yeah. So I wanted to like touch on a little something that you said earlier, right? Like just thinking about the chemical benzene being in the sunscreen, and they like the companies or whoever is making the product or the mixture or whatever, they're putting in this small amount of benzene or whatever the ingredient is, and it should not have any kind of like effects or dangerous to your health or whatever. But then when you look at how to use the sunscreen, it'll tell you if you get in the water, which is how I got burned, right? Is when you get in the water
or work out,
sweat too much, like it reduces the effect of the sunscreen over time, right? So like you might be outside for 5 hours, you have to reapply the sunscreen. So if you're outside or at the beach or at the pool all day, so you might put on sunscreen
layers and layers.
3 times, and so like now you have 3 times of that particular ingredient on your skin. And so like it sounds great that we're putting in this little amount, but then you have to think like also the directions tell me to put this on every 2 hours. So if I'm outside for 8 hours, I've put that on 4 times.
Yeah, but you're also like not using it every day or all year long, right?
Well,
but it depends on what you
like. If I work outside,
okay,
during
am
the
I
summertime,
I'm gonna need it. If I'm in construction or I'm work in a natural park or something like that, I'm gonna need sunscreen every time I work, which could be a lot of hours each week.
Yeah, so I think that's a great point. Like people who work outside, like construction workers, or people who do
in agriculture.
Yeah.
You know what's so interesting, and this is more so about the sun, and I guess a little bit less about sunscreen. But like there was a guy I just saw on TikTok, and he's a truck driver, and like the side of his face that was like closest to the window looked completely different from the other side, and it was because of the skin damage that he had from the sun hitting him on this side, on the left side of his body, right? And I thought that was interesting. You would think because you're in a car that you're safe, but like because of the amount of hours that he spent on the road driving a truck, like you could see the difference between the right side and left side of his face. And
they say like people's left arms are more likely to have skin cancer also because of
even though the glass is supposed to have that UV, because the UV is not supposed to get through glass in vehicles. So, but I mean, I got my window down sometimes or whatever.
When it's hot, it's nice outside. You got your arm out.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Yeah.
So I think thank you for moving to the sun, because there's also like, there's been some conspiracy theories about the sun and should we be outside, should we not be outside. I mean, I think we talked a lot about the damage that the sun can do to our skin, but we're black folk, right? So we like to be outside. But also there's a cultural significance to the sun. You know, I think about, okay, y'all get ready for my hotep moment. I think about Sun Ra and, you know, just like the association of the sun and us, like the sun gives us energy. The sun is a god. Sorry for all my Christian folk, but you know, like that is also kind of a connection that we have.
But it is because of the photosynthesis in plants. That's where the energy comes from. Whenever you eat vegetables, is from the sun.
And that is the actually the best way for you to get vitamin D. And so, you know, a lot of people will take vitamin D supplements, but honestly, you take the vitamin D supplement and you just pee it right out because it's not your body's not absorbing it. Yeah. But you go out into the sun and your body will absorb it because that's what it's really looking for. So I remember you were talking about like your husband was. Somebody recommended that your husband take vitamin D?
His physician at the VA was saying that he should take vitamin D supplements. He was like, you know, vitamin D deficiency. And I was listening to a podcast about that. And apparently a lot of people are being told that they have a vitamin D deficiency, which may not be true. I think the evidence, from what I understand, is kind of flimsy about that. So... Again, it's expensive pee.
So it's interesting. So, you know, like they put vitamin D in orange juice. They put vitamin D in, hold on 1 second. This is how, I don't know if it, okay, I'm glad I did that. So they put vitamin D in orange juice. They put it in milk, I think, also. Because of this concern that people are vitamin D deficient. And so there are ways to get vitamin D in addition to the sun. And so vitamin D is actually best absorbed with food, but also in connection with vitamin K, K2. That's right. Vitamin D3 and K2. So a lot of times you'll see those supplements, they're kind of combine the vitamins. Right. So you just take one pill or something like that. And then, but you know, vitamin. Even though I don't know about whether the world is vitamin deficient or not. I don't know. Right. But I do know that there are benefits. Like if you are vitamin deficient, there are some health concerns, right? Because vitamin D helps with your heart. Apparently, vitamin D helped protect against COVID. It also helps with fertility and like organ functioning, and it helps with sleep too. So that's how I learned about it, was because I was having insomnia. I was dealing with insomnia for like 2 years, and I had a friend. We had a mutual friend who was a nutritionist. She ain't my friend no more. But anyway, that's another episode. It's a whole other episode. But anyway, so she told me to like go check to see my magnesium levels and my vitamin D levels to see if those were impacting my sleep. And I was deficient in both of those. Started taking the supplements and did a lot better. Magnesium is also very important.
It is. Yeah. And I understand that's important.
I would say, so I think it might have been 2020, excuse me, that my physician told me that I was vitamin D deficient. And really? Yeah. And so like I've been taking that supplement, and what is it? 2000 UDI or something like that. But yeah, so I get it. But then probably 3 years later, last year, I found out you need to take it with like fat soluble, like a fat soluble
take it with food.
Yeah, take it with food. And then earlier this year, I found out like you should also be taking it with K2. So not only are you being told by your physician, you know, somebody you trust, that, you know, you should take vitamin D, but there also has to be a way that it should be, like, the application of it. Like, you have to take it with food, right?
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes I forget and I pop it at the end of the night, and I'm like, I hope it works, right? Or I'll pop it in the morning because I think about it, because it's like it's not. I don't always have my pills with me when I'm eating lunch, or something like that, and so you're just on the go, and it's like, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm taking the medication or whatever that was suggested. But then you're like, okay, this is expensive pee because I'm peeing it right out because it's not going to the place it needs to go because I didn't take it correctly. Yeah. Right. And so like that, to me, that's just as important because like I spent at least 2.5 years just popping this pill.
Right. And spend a lot of money on it.
Right. Yeah. And it may not have been, I don't know because I can't say that I saw the difference. I think when I went back for blood work, he said my vitamin D was better.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did they do some follow-up labs? And
say,
okay.
So I'm assuming that it helped, but it's crazy because, again, later on, I found out, I should take it with food or I should also take it with K2.
So it sounds like you were absorbing some of it, but not probably as much as you
optimal amount or something like that. Did you see a nutritionist as well?
I didn't.
Nutritionists are underrated. I don't even think
that's what I'm thinking because your physician, your primary is not a nutritionist, right? I
mean, if they don't
refer you to a nutritionist, how are you really gonna know? On that level.
Yeah, I learned a lot from nutritionists. Just about the food and the power of food and the healing power of food. And how you can get a lot of vitamins and how you can use certain foods to heal certain issues.
That's right.
But also, we talked about this in the last episode about processed food. If you're eating foods that are not whole, bruh.
I thought you put it on.
I thought I turned the screensaver off.
I thought so too.
Please turn it off. Maybe that's what it is. Prevent automatic sleeping on power adapter when the display is off. I don't know what that means.
Just read it again.
Prevent automatic sleeping on the power adapter when the display is off.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
But I just turned wake for network. No, I turned off put hard disk to sleep when possible. I put never.
Yeah, try that.
It doesn't have any settings for the screensaver. It's like my screensaver never comes on, and I must have turned it on, thinking that I turned it off.
So it didn't do it before she knocked on the door because you were holding the mouse, so it might be what you just have to do this
time.
Turn
display off on battery when inactive. Start screensaver when inactive. Oh, let me turn it off.
Yes, you're like me.
What's that?
Okay.
Got 20
Let's try that.
Don't judge me.
Look, no judgment from me because I'm like, that is me all day. I probably got more than that.
Forget. On my tabs.
The tabs.
I have Safari tabs.
And we can talk about it later. There's a way to like condense them into groups.
Oh. But see, then
I
would
bookmarks too.
Forget which screen. I don't know.
I need to have bookmarks too.
It's easy because you just go like right click, and then you would move it into a tab. You make a group,
new tab
and
group.
you can literally call it like work. And it'll just be all the tabs in the work, and it's still in the thing. You'll see the tab. You'll see one tab that says work, and that'll be it.
So I have this. I turned on this feature where it like switches between things like that, and it like puts it on the side for you.
Oh, that must be the new one.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Where is that? Is that in the settings?
I have to show you later.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you right now.
We gotta check that out.
All right. We are back again. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
You were talking about seeing your physician and nutritionists and how they can
help with
superfoods and whatnot.
So what I did want to ask, and I think that this might be something interesting we could talk about later, the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. Because I think a lot of times, I know for me, I've been using them interchangeably, and then I came to find out probably just a couple years ago that they're actually two different things, because I met somebody who I think they're a registered dietitian. If you're not a registered dietitian, please forgive me, but I think she's a registered dietitian. And she told me that there's a difference between a nutritionist and a registered dietitian. And so, like, I think that would be interesting to talk about, because I do think that we don't necessarily rely on them as much as we should, and they have a lot of information, just like pharmacists, some of these people outside of your normal, like, healthcare providers. When you think about healthcare, you immediately think about a doctor, a nurse, physician assistant, somebody like that. But there's a plethora of other people that have, that sometimes they're in the same classes with these same healthcare professionals. And so, like, just relying on them and their level of expertise instead of going to, your family physician, doctor, or a general practitioner, going to somebody who is a specialist. And so, like you said, you found out a lot of information from your nutritionist. Yeah. So
dietitian focuses on weight loss or weight control. Mm-hmm. So if you need to gain weight, you could also go to a dietitian. But a nutritionist focuses on the nutrients in the food and how that nutrients can help alleviate ailments that you might have.
Okay.
So, or to, address some of the deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies that you might have. Mm-hmm. Or if you have indigestion or things like that, you could work with a nutritionist or like say you have irritable bowel syndrome or something like that, where you really need support with the food that you eat. Mm-hmm. You can work with a nutritionist because they know how to address the food challenges and kind of help you to supplement in whatever ways you need to. So, I think a good rule of thumb, and I've seen this on social media, is like they have these infographics that show the food and how it corresponds to a body part. So if the food looks like the body part, then it's actually beneficial for that body part.
Yeah.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, kidney beans are good for your kidneys.
And they're shaped like a kidney.
Yeah, and then so like any kind of red food is actually really good for your heart and for your blood. Beets. I know some people don't like beets. I used to hate beets, and then now I'm like obsessed with beets.
I love beets.
But yeah, beets are really good for your heart, and they're also
you shaking your head.
Blood flow, yeah. But
they're rich in iron. So if you're anemic, they're good. And then also if you have high blood pressure, beets actually are just as effective, if not more, than blood pressure pills like statins. And that's something that I've also learned with my parents, is that they have been on statins, these blood pressure pills, for years, like 10, 15 years. But the doctor never told them to change their diet.
At all?
At all. Like they were just
no counseling, no nutrition counseling,
or
referral.
Boggles my mind. But it's because the doctors, MDs, are not trained in nutrition.
No.
So they're trained in diagnosis and treatment using pharmaceutical drugs, but they're not trained in food.
Homeopathy.
Food is medicine. Yeah. So I think those are some. Oh, and then like walnuts. Walnuts are actually good for your brain, and nuts actually also help lower your cholesterol.
Tree nuts, yeah. Yeah.
Quick story, like
tell us about the beets.
And I don't like beets. Like
Is there any preparation of beets, like either pickled or?
No, I don't know if I've had a pickled beet before. But
you're from the South.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I've had a pickled beet. I may have, and I probably was like, yuck. But no, I just started juicing. And, I work out, so pre-workouts, and there's this new thing now, right? Like, I'm always looking for natural things, but like beetroot powder, right?
Yeah.
But supplements are expensive, so
just go buy the beets.
So go buy the beets. But because I started juicing, now I juice the beets. But I'll add like ginger, I'll add an apple. I'll add pineapple. So it cuts the flavor of the beet, and it's
Why
like
would you
still
want to
sweet.
cut the flavor
I
of the beet?
love beets. Oh, I could just
Okay,
eat
now
them
my
by
husband said they
themselves.
taste like dirt,
Oh, I thought you said you didn't like
but
beets.
I
I
love
love
beets.
beets.
Yeah, I love
You
beets.
love beets too?
I used to
Oh,
hate
no.
them, but no, you have to wash them off.
No, he said they taste like dirt. It's not
Right.
the dirt on the outside. He said the beets
Beets are
themselves.
They used to taste like dirt to me, and
Exactly.
now all of a sudden they
Beets
taste
are
He's
like
like, they
just-
taste like dirt. I was like, no.
I'll
you
make
know.
it in my juice concoction, but I don't
I'm
think I
curious,
can eat beets by themselves.
You know how like your body craves the food that you need, because like I'm oftentimes diagnosed as anemic.
Mhm.
Depends on the day when I go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But so like maybe the beets are my body saying
yeah,
I
I
need
think
it.
there's something to that.
The body is like I love the body, and like so like the body is a freaking machine, and I think that we have just been programmed to like deny ourselves, deny our body, not listen
not
to our
listen.
body.
Yeah.
And so like your body will tell you so much of what you need if you're giving it the appropriate things. So like you know what I'm saying, like if you're feeding your body the way that you need to be, that it needs to be fed, your body is going to tell you everything that you need. And so like
True.
I think that's a great point. Like we just have been programmed over the years to not listen to our bodies, and I think a lot of that programming is for some reasons I'm not going to say right now, but I think it kind of goes back to not listening to your body. We are listening to professionals, right, who may not have like they have training, but they don't have expansive training over everything. So like we're just in a society where I don't feel good, let me go take this medication or this pharmaceutical, right? Instead of saying like, hey, what are some other more natural things that actually will align with my body? Because if beets do the same thing as a statin, then
Eat the beet.
Yeah,
or
let's
just
try
or
it.
juice it or something.
Okay,
'cause-
so here's my thing about juice.
And add the pineapple.
Right.
So here's my thing about juicing.
Was okay.
Not that it's bad per se. I mean, it's
Mhm.
healthier than most things.
Mhm.
But when you juice, you are getting rid of the fiber.
All the fiber.
And you're basically
Then you just blocked
drinking
up.
the sugar,
You're just blocked up.
which
You
is
just-
a natural
you need
sugar, but
you
you're
need that
drinking
fiber.
the sugar.
Yeah.
So what you do is, and this I saw it on TikTok. That's the only reason why I know. Is like I literally saw it on TikTok.
Okay,
Is you keep
TikTok
that
and
fiber,
right.
and you can, like, people say they make muffins out of the fiber. They make their own like powder out of the fiber. Like, so there's a
why
process
did
that
you
you
just
have to
eat
go
it?
through it. Huh?
I know
Just
you don't want to
eat
eat
the
the
fruit.
beets, but why don't you just eat the fruit? Yeah,
Oh no,
exactly.
I'll eat the fruit. I
But
just
you
can't
like
eat the
juicing.
beets. Like I can't.
Not just beets, but I mean like your pineapple and your
Oh yeah,
carrots
yeah,
and your
yeah.
apples.
So
and
I put some of that in the juicer, right? And then I also put some of it in the refrigerator because I eat
Like
I
half.
like fruit.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
fruits.
There's
and stuff.
not they're like you can't eat too much fruit. It's just impossible.
Mhm.
Like
Or
it's so good
veggies,
for you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit is so good for you, and veggies you can eat unlimited supply
Mhm.
and never like go be bad about it.
Mhm.
So that's a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And then this was the getting back to the original topic, which was about sun. We went off onto we really like nutrition, but getting back to the sun.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. That the sun actually has healing properties for people who have psoriasis.
Mm.
And so they actually say for you to go out into the sun and live in sunny places because it helps to treat and actually almost cure your psoriasis, which is crazy to me.
But I remember, so I read the article,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it said, so there's two, which I did not know. There's two different types of sun rays, if you will. So like there's UVA and then there's UVB.
Uh-huh.
And so like the UVB rays were the ones that were like that are not less harmful or not harmful at all. UVA is the ones that could be cancer causing, right?
Oh, okay.
So they were
Get
saying that
into, like the lower parts of
so they
the
go
epidermis or something.
UVA goes like to deeper levels of your skin, whereas UVB kind of stays, I guess, at the top layer of skin, and so that's why it helps like psoriasis and stuff like that. And so like I have eczema on my fingers, like some of my fingers, and I remember when I went to my dermatologist, what he said was when you're in warmer climates, you go to Florida, Texas, you go to more humid climates. He was like, you probably wouldn't even need to take your topical medication because
wow.
like you'll be fine, right? But he was like, in the wintertime, being in North Carolina, or like if you lived somewhere like north of North Carolina, he was like, you would probably need to use it more because the air is drier and all of those things. He was like, but if you went to the tropics, you would probably be absolutely fine. So is it
also because of the humidity or because of the sun that he was saying that?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both,
okay.
Yeah. So I think it's the moisture in the air that's...
We are not meant to be in these cold places.
Dry, cold, arid.
We're not meant to be there.
Altitude.
Why do you think majority of the population... Well, I mean, we know why majority population in the United States of black people live in the South. But
yes,
other than that, why do you think, like, a lot of us still choose to either stay in the South or we'll move to the North, and then they'll be like, it's just too cold. Like, I can't. I did it for 3 years living in, like, the Midwest, northern Midwest, and they're like, no. And so I'm never moving above North Carolina again, right?
I'll deal with the racism.
Right. You'll deal with so many things because it just...
Like, at least it's overt and not covert.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean...
Yeah, that's real. And so I think it's just... Yeah, that's where we're supposed to be, is in the sun.
Our people
all right. So on that note, I think we need to wrap up this episode. This has been a good conversation about... We have learned about food and the healing properties of food. We've learned about sunscreen and, trying to discern. The key takeaway for me is to find products that, to look and do your research on what the ingredients are in the products, but also to find products that are more naturally derived because we don't trust chemicals, And then I think the other takeaway is that the sun is a healing thing. And it's something that we need, but also to not overdo it and not be out for an hour and a half after you've gone swimming in the beach.
Yeah. And if you are, just put on some sunscreen.
Just put on some sunscreen.
Yeah. Do your homework.
And they say sunscreen is the best way to protect yourself from skin cancer. So, yes, black people use sunscreen.
Please.
Shout out to Black Girl Sunscreen.
Oh, yeah. Shout out.